Welcome to the Boxing Talk Show.
Fair but firm.
With the Hall of Fame boxing referee.
I'm Joe Cortez.
And co-host John Zemel. In English and Spanish for all of Las Vegas.
Come on, guys. Let's touch them up. Clean fight. I'm Joe Cortez. Fair but firm.
Hey, fans. Welcome to the Fair but Firm show here with my Hall of Fame career in boxing. And now we have a nice show here. I'm glad to have John Zemel as my co-host. We're doing a lot to give you guys as much information as possible from the fight game. And of course, future fights. And we also talk a little bit sometimes about memory lane back in the past.
Yes, we do.
You know, John, in boxing, a lot of fans keep asking, you know, about how they become referee, they want to become judges. Almost every weekend I've run to a bunch of people. How do I get involved? I'll tell you guys, when I get involved, call your local jurisdiction, your police athletic league, your Golden Glove, amateur programs. Go to a local gym, find out who's ahead of the boxing program, let's say in your city, wherever, and they will direct you to the boxing director. You get started with the kids in the gym while they're sparring. That's how you warm up, get yourself to get a little feel for being a referee, and that's to be a scorer, a judge. That's easy as well. You sit there, you score these kids sparring in the gym. You get a feel for it. Before you know it, they got you working the programs, get into these boxing programs. And next thing you know, we hear Mike Buffer saying, and the referee, so-and-so, and the judge. It'd be your name. It could be possibly one of the top ones. I know you're out there. The judges and referees for the future are out there right now, probably listening, don't know that they're going to be the ones that are going to be chosen to be in that position. So, you know, if you want to get involved with the boxing, call your local jurisdiction and find out with the athletic program.
That's good advice, man. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, people always ask.
I know, I hear it all the time. It's
cool.
Yeah,
we got to pass it on, you know. Hopefully one day it happened with me. The guy called me and said, Joe, you want to get involved as a referee? I said, referee? You know? And he said, yeah, I'm going to send you down to the police athletic league. Pat Masher, a good friend of mine, went back. He used to referee my fights when I was fighting in the amateurs in New York. And that's how it all started. So I was very honored to get involved with the police athletic league. There was a manager there that he had the program, and he got me involved. And next thing I know, 2 or 3 weeks later, I'm already doing these young kids. Johnny Defoe was the guy up on Webster Avenue up in the Bronx in New York. The joke, he put on some white slacks, I'll give you a PAL t-shirt, these are white sneakers. And you know, I'm working in the ring with these young kids. And before you know it, boom, I'm doing my first pro fights in Madison Square Garden.
Who was your first pro fight?
6 months later. Where?
Do you remember who the fighters were for your first pro fight?
No, I don't remember, but I remember the 2 referees that worked with me.
That makes sense.
That was Arthur McCanty and as a Spanish referee, forgot his name.
Some other guy.
He was a good one too.
I believe it. Well, let me ask you this one. I'm putting you on the spot. Your first championship fight. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, of course.
You refereed?
Of course. That you got to remember that one. That was Aaron Pryor and Miguel Montilla in Atlantic City, 1982.
There we go.
It was really, but the other Spanish referee was Tony Perez. Tony Perez was the first Hispanic referee in New York City. He started doing main events. We were doing Ali Frazier fights. I used to watch him. I said, man, this guy, he hops around the ring. He was moving around. I said, he got good mechanics, doing good. I remember one day I was in Madison Square Garden watching a fight, and there was a lady up in the upper section of the Madison Square Garden, not the nosebleed section, but it was up there, high, halfway up. And that lady was dressed in black, and I said, are you a fight fan? You come here to watch a fight by yourself? She said, I come to watch my son. I said, who's that? She said, the referee, Tony Perez. I said, really? And I made her soul rest in peace. She was, I never forget that day. And I've told, every time I see Tony, I say, Tony, I never forget that dad I met your mother in Madison Square Garden. And I was just a fan, just watching the fight. So it's always an honor to,
That's cool, man.
To give a shout out to Tony Perez. And his wife, Barbara Perez, is also a boxing judge. I hear they're both boxing judges in New Jersey right now. And they were very active back in the 70s and 80s as a top-notch referees. Anyway, and Arthur McCanty was the dean of all referees. I've always said that Arthur McCanty was like the sharpest, most intelligent guy in the ring, had good ring mechanics, always in the right place at the right time. And he has his son, Arthur McCanty Jr. is a referee from New York right now. So, but Arthur McCanty, seen it, #1 of all time as far as I'm concerned.
Well, there you go.
Anyway, we have some we have a call in from a friend of Carlos Narvaez from Puerto Rico. He'll be calling in soon, so we'll be talking to him.
One of my absolute favorite guests. I love having him on every time we do, and he's just super informative and entertaining, and just a good dude.
Absolutely. I remember that we had last week we had
Mickey
Ward on the line.
Mickey Ward was an excellent interview.
Yeah,
We've interviewed a lot of fighters on here, and he really came through. I mean, he shined through. Just his personality, like the kind of guy that he's supposed to be. You hear about it all the time, the blue collar East Coast guy,
right?
And that's not an act. I mean, that's 100% who this guy is, and
exactly.
There's no question about it. It's really cool to see.
Yeah. No, he's an awesome guy. He's a great individual to have on the show. He was really telling us about all those 3 fights he had with
about Arturo Gatti.
Arturo Gatti, you know.
I was super interested in seeing how close they became.
Yeah. No, he was
fascinating.
He was unbelievable.
I went on to do a lot more reading about it.
Yeah.
For good reason. I'll tell you one thing. Mickey Ward. One thing that really blew me away about him was just how down to earth he was. We were talking to him, and I asked him after those Gotti fights.
Yeah.
What was the biggest? How did your life change the most? And he was like, he said, I don't know. People recognize me more, I guess. He's like, my life didn't. I mean, I didn't change. And I mean, that was the end of his career. All of a sudden, he's famous, and all of a sudden, he's, you know what I mean? He's an icon, and he's in rap songs, and they're making movies about him, and and he's just like, no, I didn't really notice. I mean, he had a little bit more money, and he could buy a gym, and you know what I mean, work at it. And other than that,
right? He was unbelievable. Now, one of the other fighters that people don't talk about much is, Marvin Hagler was one of the great middleweights of all time.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, I mean, they talk about him. I mean, he stays active.
You're right. We don't talk about him on here much, though.
Yeah, but we should be.
And I agree with you, because Marvin Hagler is an absolutely iconic. I mean, one of the greatest middleweights to ever do it, undeniably. And at a time that was the hardest time to be a middleweight. Yeah,
exactly. But one of the toughest fights of his career, and it was, unfortunately to him, it was like a bad decision, was when he fought Sugar Ray Leonard, and the fans were like, "Wow, Leonard won the fight." No, they'll say, "No, Hagler won the fight." It was like going back and forth.
Some decisions are controversial and scary.
And to this day, people are still arguing about that decision.
Oh, of course. That's one of the fun things about boxing.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you one decision that one fight outcome that will not be disputed, and that's this weekend's fight against with Earl Spence against Carlos Ocampo.
Oh yeah.
That was undeniably. There was nothing you can say about that. He just put him down right there in the first round. That was what we wanted to see. Everyone tuned in for the most part, other than probably Carlos Ocampos' family. We all tuned in to see what Earl Spence could do in his first mandatory. I mean, his first real title defense here, and we were excited to see it, man. I mean, I was excited to see it.
Yeah. No. It was Earl Spence is somebody to reckon with in the welterweight division.
Undeniably.
Yeah. Well, we have with us on the line none other than Carlos Narvaez from Puerto Rico. So Carlos is not on the line yet. Okay, Carlos, you on the line here, Carlos?
Yes, I'm on the line.
Hey,
how are you, Joe?
All right, my man. Carlos Narvaez from San Juan, Puerto Rico, La Isla del Encanto.
Yes, the shining star of the Caribbean.
Yeah. Well, Carlos, over the weekend we had some fights here in this guy in Texas, and we had Earl Spence, who fought a great fight Saturday night, and you also had some fights in Puerto Rico. Can you tell us a little bit about those fights?
Yes, of course. Last Saturday, Angel Tito Acosta had his first defensive title. He's right now the junior flyweight champion, and he faced the Nicaraguan guy that's Carlos Buitrago.
Okay.
Was a very good defense. He wins at the end by technical knockout in the 12th round. Right. So it was a good night for Tito Acosta. Tito Acosta, is one of the actual champions.
Exactly.
Of Puerto Rico.
Right. Exactly.
So he did well.
Yeah, he did very good, very good. And you also had Terrence Crawford fighting for Jeff Horn for the welterweight championship. What do you have to tell me about that fight?
Well, Terrence Crawford is still one of the best pound for pound right now. in the welterweight division. Great record, 33-0 and 24 knockouts. He dominated from the first round, Jeff Horn.
Yeah.
And everybody knows who is Jeff Horn because was the guy that stole the title of Manny Pacquiao.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But Terence Crawford is one of the greatest. I don't know why he is not too popular at this time with 33-0. Because if you remember, Floyd Mayweather with 33-0 was so popular in boxing. But this guy, I don't know what happened. His promoter, Bob Arum, made everything to make this guy be more charismatic.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know what happened right now. But he's still one of the best in his division right now. So
exactly, he's definitely the best in a 147 pounder. Well, he's one of the top ones up there right now.
Yeah, it's crazy because you can make an argument for him to be the number one pound for pound, but then someone else can make an argument that he's not even number one in welterweight right now, just because of the existence of Earl Spence. It's kind of an exciting thing that that we have right there.
Yeah, they got Earl Spence who really looked good Saturday night, stopping his opponent, which was it was a big joke because the opponent was a mandatory opponent for that fight, but. A lot of people say, who is this guy? He got a great record from Mexico, but you know what? Like some people will say, who did he really fight?
No, he didn't. I mean, no one you'd ever heard of. It was all in Mexico.
Yeah, all in Mexico, and he was fighting guys that are probably not even a B class for fighters.
No, I mean because we never heard of any of them. We don't really know, and you know what I mean. There's a lot of clouds.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Carlos. In boxing, will know that if the fans see a fight and it's not exciting, it's just a one round knockout. Unless it was a Mike Tyson, people know you're going to see a 1 round knockout against a decent fighter. But you got a fighter that's supposed to be number one contender after the champion, and come out there and didn't even look like a decent amateur. He got knocked out 1, 2, 3.
Carlos, do you think we learned anything from that fight? Did you learn anything from the 2-minute and 59-second fight about Earl Spence?
No. Well, honestly, I don't see the fight of Earl Spence because I was working at with the TV crew at the Acosta fight on Saturday. I'm only seeing the previews that
the preview was longer than the fight.
Yeah, but 2 minutes is nothing. It's nothing.
Yeah.
2 minutes is nothing. Now, if you try to analyze a fight like the Earl Spence and Carlos Ocampos, just 2 minutes of the fight, well, that means that in boxing right now, you got people that are making and are trying to making figures right now with no experience, guys.
Yeah, I think that Terence Crawford could have learned more from him if he was shadow boxing by himself.
Yeah.
I could have learned more from him watching that.
Right. I didn't learn anything. I guess the one thing I'd say I learned was that when he rehydrated, he only got back up to like 155, 156. And people always say he's one of the bigger welterweights. And he is, but I think he's a natural welterweight. I don't think he's not primed. He's not meant to be a middleweight eventually. I think he's meant to be a big welterweight.
But I think, I can't go with you on that because Roberto Duran was a lightweight and he ended up being middleweight champion of the world.
Yeah. I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying I think naturally he is. Like when Canelo was fighting welterweight, he eventually was going to be a middleweight. You know what I mean? He was going to get bigger. He was still young.
Yeah.
But I mean, what's Earl Spence like 27? I mean, he's not going to grow much at this point.
Yeah. Well, I know Roberto Duran when he beat. I remember that fight like it was yesterday. I was a referee that great fight. He was 35 years old when he became middleweight champion of the world. No one would have thought that Roberto Duran will go to that level. He was lightweight, welterweight, super welterweight, and middleweight champion, 4-time division champion. So, and he's much shorter than Earl Spence. Mm-hmm. But as you get older, Earl Spence, I think he'll fill up to be the next 3 or 4 years. He'll be maybe 7 years if he's still around. He'll be a middleweight contender, a middleweight champion one day too.
Yeah, he very well could be, but I think it'd be like a conscious decision he makes. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly,
where he decides he wants to do it. He doesn't have to because he's growing.
I think once they all get through, like Sugar Leonard, and then when he went through everybody in the welterweight division, then he said, all right, I'm gonna fight Marvin Hagler for the middleweight championship. He went and took it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what? For me, it's very difficult to try to compare guys like Earl Spence or Terence Crawford with the old timers, because in the time that Roberto Duran fight, was golden days.
Oh yeah, that was the golden era.
The golden era. He had Esteban de Jesus, Ezequiel Obando, Ray Leonard,
Tommy Hearns, Wilfredo Benitez,
Pipino Cueva.
Wilfredo Benitez.
Pipino Cueva, that's the Mexican, one of the best Mexican fighters of that era. You have Vini Paciencia. What's the other one? Hector Macho Camacho. Well, you get a lot of
but one of the better ones was Wilfredo Benitez. At the age of 17, 17, he beat Pipino Cuevas. I mean, he beat up Pambele. He beat Pambele to get the was it the junior welterweight championship or was it welterweight?
Welterweight.
Okay, he took the welterweight at the age 17, where Wilfredo Benitez, he always fought at the same weight throughout his career. I don't recall him fighting anything heavier than that. But remember, he fought Sugar Ray Leonard, and Leonard stopped him a technical knockout in the later rounds. He had a cut in his forehead. He was bleeding a lot, and he got heavy combination. I don't know. To me, Wilfredo Benitez.
Wilfred Benitez was at the age of 17 years old.
Yeah.
The youngest champion in
the history of
the world.
Yes.
Wow.
He beat Antonio Cervantes Pambele.
Oh, yes.
Split decision. Yeah, it was a split decision.
I remember.
And was here. The fight was here in the Iran Bison Stadium.
Yeah, I was there in Puerto Rico at the time where I was working at the El Conquistador Hotel, and everybody was celebrating. And I was, fairly new in Puerto Rico, but I came from New York, and I said, "What this guy, young kid, 17 years old?" I said, "I won the National Golden Glove Championship when I was 17. This guy winning the World Championship of the world when he's 17 years old. Unbelievable, man." But
that is crazy. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, but Carlos, there's a lot of times that we sit back and we start thinking, reminiscing about the good old days, and I start thinking about guys like Mike Tyson when he was coming up. I'll tell you a little story. Mike Tyson told me not too long ago, he said, "Joe, I came up to you when I was 13 years old, and I said, I want to be a fighter." He said, "You gave me some good advice, and I listened to you, I try to stay on the right track." And I made so many young kids come up, but you never know. The next heavyweight champion of the world is out there someplace today, probably playing basketball or probably swimming someplace, and you're another world champion. They're out there. We got to develop them, find out where the talent is at, and we're going to have some more great champions in the near future. I remember back in the days in the 70s and 80s when all divisions were controlled by American fighters. American fighters dominated all the divisions, just about, for the exception maybe the flyweight and this mini flyweight division. But now, we talked about it not long ago.
Honestly, if you look at the pound for pound list right now, I mean, you have Terence Crawford, Errol Spence, and maybe Deontay Wilder if he makes your list, and that's it as far as American fighters in the top.
That's it.
It's unbelievable, and it's a good thing for the globalization of the sport. It's unbelievable.
Well, and Basil Lomachenko is one of the. For me, I think Basil Lomachenko is a pound for pound over Terence Crawford and Deontay Wilder.
Yeah,
I can see that argument for sure.
Yeah, I can see it too. He's got it all.
He's amazing boxer.
And he has something like
with only 11 fights, he's right now 3-division champion.
Yeah, but he had like 396 amateur fights, but only one loss in the amateurs.
Unbelievable.
And that's where he got all his experience from the amateurs. And he brought it over to the pros, but he brought it over like a real skillful, masterful boxer with all the skills. You know, the ring mechanics, every movement that he makes was just perfect.
His footwork, his angles, is just unbelievable.
All the angles that he's got, he gets in the pocket, gets in there nice, gets out, doesn't get hit.
We had a really good run just now where, I mean, if you're looking at like pound for pound top guys, over the past 3-4 months, we've seen them all fight, and some of them have fought like really good competition. Terrence Crawford goes up a weight class to fight Jeff Horn. We got Lomachenko fighting a much larger Linares and gets knocked down, comes back and just, dominates. Right. You have, I mean, Earl Spence, you got a little showcase, but it wasn't quite that. But Triple G, same thing with the showcase. But we got to see a lot of the top fighters, you know what I mean, right now, just one after the other. It's really been a good little run right here.
No question about it. That's good. It's good stuff.
Hey guys, and what about finally the fight that everybody wants to see,
right?
The Triple G and the Canelo fight.
Yeah, well, we're just going into that right now.
We will have in September. That's good.
Yeah, September 15th, which is what we had said after he got the suspension for the drug clenbuterol, which was a drug not to be used. It's a ban from the list of the boxing, and he's clean now. He says he's in good shape. He's ready. The fans are ready to accept it. And a lot of people say, I think he may beat Triple G now. I don't know why people are leaning that way now.
It seems strange.
But you know what's going to happen? If he beats him, you know what they're going to say? He was taking the drug.
Clenbuterol, or he waited. He waited until Triple G got old, they're
gonna. No matter what he does now, if he wins, that's what they're gonna say.
That's the problem with failing a drug test, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Although I gotta say, I'm so excited for this fight. For the main reason being, we've been talking about this fight for 5 years.
Welcome to Wells Fargo.
Right.
We've been talking about this nonstop. We've been so excited, unbelievably excited, one step after another.
Right.
Between when Canelo dropped his belt because he didn't want to fight Triple G, and then finally we get the fight, and what is it? It's a draw with a controversy all over the place. Some people think Canelo won. A lot of people think the Triple G won. Some people do think it was a draw, but some of those scorecards we've talked about endlessly in the past created controversy.
Right.
Then we finally have the rematch. Both guys think they won, which it almost never happens. We finally get the rematch, and what happens? Canelo fails 2 drug tests. So now there's a lot of bad blood on both sides. You got 2 guys who both top 10 pound for pounders, ready to go at it, ready to finally prove who owns the middleweight division in this era. And we can finally see it on September 15th after all this time. And I couldn't be more excited about this fight, honestly. I thought that I would be like over it after talking about it for 2 years or 5 years, but I'm like finally want to see what goes down.
Hey, Carlos, who's the rising star?
Hello.
Yeah, Carlos, who's the rising star in boxing there in Puerto Rico right now?
Right now?
Yes.
Well, I think we discussed that in the past, but I feel the guy that is growing up very fast is Emmanuel Manny Rodriguez.
Manny Rodriguez. Okay, good.
Manny Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Right now we have three champions. Emmanuel Manny Rodriguez. No, sorry, 4. That's 4 champions. Emmanuel Rodriguez, Acosta, Alberto Machado, and Jesus Rojas. Jesus Rojas is interim champion in the WBA in 130. But right now, I think, yeah.
Now you got the guy Pedrosa who just fought Saturday night. He's looking to move up to fight for the lightweight division. Yeah, he gave up his title at 130. He's a promising fighter.
Yeah, he was a champion at 20 featherweight. He was champion at one.
Right.
126, but
he looked pretty good last weekend here in Las Vegas, and he's looking to. He fought a young tough Mexican Roman, who gave him a tough fight. It wasn't that easy, but he ended up winning a decision. And Bob Arum talked about his future in the near future, fighting for a lightweight championship. And so that's what Jose Pedrosa is looking forward to.
Yeah, he's a very technical fighter.
Yes, he is. He's
not too exciting fighter, but very technical.
Yeah, very difficult. He go decent puncher, not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that boxing still has a lot of rising stars, not only in Puerto Rico, but throughout the world. A lot of European fighters, South American fighters. There's so many young fighters out there that are really...
Absolutely. I mean, you can just see the explosion like we talk about. I mean, you look at the top 10 list, you got Japan on there. I mean, I'm talking, if you look at everybody's top 10 list, you know what I mean? You just kind of explore. You got Japan on there with Inoue. You got Thailand on there with Rungvisai. You have all the way, I mean, you got all the way up to Lomachenko in Eastern Europe, Triple G in Eastern Europe, different parts of Eastern Europe. You got all the way down to Joshua in England. You have like you were talking about, South America, a lot of North America. I mean, it's a global sport right now, like it's never been, ever been. And it could not be more exciting to be a fan in boxing right now. It just couldn't.
And fans are saying that they were saying a while back that boxing is dying, guys. I think boxing is just as live it is today as it was back in the 70s, just about 70s and 80s. I mean, every week you see good fights out there, not only here, but all
boxing
over the
goes
world.
Through waves, like different golden ages. And I think we're reaching one right now again.
Yeah, it has its peaks and valleys. And right now it's really on
really
a
peak. Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
It's great to have boxing. And Carlos, I want to just say thank you for you and I. We write that column in Puerto Rico called Contragolpes on el Vocero newspaper.
In English, it's counterpunches.
Yeah, counterpunch. Yeah, in English. In Spanish, it's Contragolpes. Now, how can the fans see? How can they find it on digital, online? Tell us.
Well, they can find it by the address is www.elvocero.com, elvocero.com.
Cool.
Para aquellos que hablan español, en www.elvocero.com. And in the search column, you look by Contragolpes, and there is all the columns.
Right.
Joe and I, since how many years, Joe? 5 years?
Going on 5 years now.
That's exciting.
5 years.
So every Friday?
I'm getting old, man.
Every Friday. Yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah, you are getting old, not me, buddy. I'm getting young. I don't know what you guys. I'm hanging around with the young guys here, and I stay young. You see, you hang around with the old people, you're gonna feel old. I hang out with the young guys. You see, young, good-looking guys are ready to go, man. Anyway, guys, you guys that know me out there, I'm full of life. I'm not gonna take a step back and not look in the rearview mirror. Always looking forward, trying to get my life better. And I'm always very creative with new ideas about doing something different. I don't let grass grow under my feet. I'm always moving, making things happen. Either whether it's a talk show, I'm going to be doing a doctor's talk show soon here in Las Vegas, a TV talk show, and maybe I'm talking to a lady, maybe doing one in Spanish to help this lady out, who's very knowledgeable on the radio station here locally. But I think that I want to get the listeners out there to get them on the right track as far as health is concerned. A lot of people, we talk about a million things, but one of the main topics in life is health. If you have no health, you have nothing. So I want to keep my listeners, everybody, in good shape. And you got to follow with your physicals. If you're diabetic or you have problem with your heart or your vision, anything. We'll have doctors on the show to talk about, guide you in the right direction for preventive medicine. We're trying to get you going so you can say, wow, thank God we listened to the show. Because if we can save one life out there, I'd be happy as hell. The thing is getting to love our fans and get them to understand what we're trying to do is trying to help them, John. We're always trying to give to the people. We don't get paid for doing what we're doing right now. We do it because we love it.
We do.
For the sport, and we love, we're passionate for the sport of boxing. And as you guys know, I've been in boxing since I was 12 years old. And you figured that out a couple of years back.
Wow.
So,
as a matter of fact, I remember when I meet you, Joe, at the first time. I was a 21 years old guy, starting in boxing as analyst, and I remember when I made you the interview for the paper. That's the first time that I know Joe.
Yeah,
I was 21, and right now I'm 42, so that was
half
21 years.
Half of your life.
Wow.
Well, Carlos, listen, again, like always, it's a pleasure to have you on the show, and I want to wish you the very best out there, Puerto Rico.
Thank you, Carlos, honestly.
And I hope that Maria will stay away for a long time. We don't need Maria the hurricane in Puerto Rico anymore. And those ladies with those names, I don't know, Maria, and so many, everything. Well, how come they have so many female names in hurricanes in Puerto Rico, Carlos? A question I want to ask everybody. Why Maria and so many? Why? How come?
Well, the National Weather Service uses the alphabetical the alphabet to place the names of every year of the
but it's always seems to be
right now
it seems to be Spanish. It seems to be Spanish. A Spanish name, always Spanish name. I think, ¿qué pasa? We gotta call it Rosemary or call it Valerie or something. But you know, I got a different name, a man's name, or no, we're good people.
Well,
I'm not being prejudiced about women. I love women. I got 3 beautiful daughters, two beautiful granddaughters. But you know what? I think that you guys got hit hard last year with Maria, and you guys should have bob and weave, and you didn't bob and weave. You got hit with a left, you got hit with a right, you got hit with an uppercut, you got hit with everything in Puerto Rico last year.
But your mother-in-law is not Maria, right?
No, but she sometimes could be like that. Esther, she's like she's worse than Maria. She hit you in a second if she can. Okay, so Carlos, take care, brother. We love you, man. Take care.
Take care, Joe. It's a pleasure to meet. Thank you, John, as always.
Okay.
Thank you, Carlos.
Okay, guys. Hey, fans out there, great seeing you guys again today. Good, you guys seeing us. We're hearing you. God bless you all.
It was good you guys seeing us.
Yeah. And listening to us, guys. You take care. God bless. We'll talk to you next week. And remember, keep your guards up at all times. And you know what I say? Say it. Right. I'm fair, but I'm firm.